Hi, my name is Austin Gravelle, and this is Dr. Cresson's Finance 451 project. We had to pick two different industries and pick five different companies from each of those industries to evaluate and select why we would invest in one of those particular companies. The first industry I did was the solar industry. This industry was widely varied. It had a lot of different growths, it had a lot of different returns. It's kind of an unstable industry right now, it's relatively new. So each company is vastly different from each other. The first company I did was Sun Power Corporation. Some key points is this company has had problems in the past. However, it's doing fine now. It's starting to report returns on equity. One of the driving factors in SunPower is that it has a very high asset turnover compared to the other companies in this industry. Other than that, everything is pretty much average as far as financial leverage. This industry is higher leverage than most other industries because it has to raise capital and it is a new growing industry. But other than that, everything was pretty much average for this industry as much as it could. The next company I chose to evaluate was Solar City Corporation. Some key points is this company is showing a negative return, which is not good. It has a terrible operating margin. It's losing a lot of money on its operations. The only thing is it's very profitable. It has one of the highest profitability margins. However, it has a very low asset turnover, so it's not turning over assets even though it is profiting. And it has one of the higher financial leverage ratios in this sector. The next company is Yingling Green Energy Holdings. This is by far the worst company out of the five that I chose to do. Has a very low negative return. Its negative return was almost 200%. It's very highly levered. It's the highest company. Its leverage is almost 80, which is extremely, extremely high. It has negative profit, so it's not making money on what it does sell, and it's negatively returning assets. Basically, what this company did was it leveraged itself a lot and it lost. As we know, leverage magnifies gains and losses, and this company lost a lot. I would not invest in this company at all. The next is JA Solar Holdings Company. It has this one is also one that is showing a positive return on equity. However, it's had its first positive return on equity in a while, so it's just starting to become profitable. And another major point is that its net working capital investment is very high. They're investing a lot of capital, so this company might have potential, but as of now, it's still kind of starting to prove itself. In my opinion, the best solar company right now is Next Era Energy Company. It's had a very stable return out of the five companies I evaluated over the last 5 years. This is the only one to not show a negative return on any of those years. Its return is around 10%, which is good for this industry, and it's been relatively stable. It has a very high profit margin. This is one of the driving factors in this company, and it has an extremely high operating margin. So they're making money from operations and they're profiting on what they do sell. They have a lower asset turnover, but again, they're making up for it in their operations and in their profit margin. Other than that, everything else is pretty much average, and it's one of the most stable energy companies right now. The next industry I decided to do was candy and snack companies. This has been a relatively stable company or sector. The first company I did was the largest. It's Mondelez International. Like I said, it's an extremely large company. It's had a very stable return over the years. However, just because it's large doesn't mean it's the best. It has a very low cash ratio. If they needed cash quickly, they would not be able to find it, which is a big concern to me. Everything else is about average for the industry. So again, this is an all-right company, but again, I'm kind of worried about their cash and their quick and current ratios. They might not be able to compensate for that. The next company is Cisco Corporation. Some key points is this company has a very high asset turnover for the industry. Uh, it does have a high return on equity. However, over the last 5 years, it has been declining. So that's one of the main concerns that I have with this. This is also another company that has a very low cash ratio, does not carry a lot of cash on itself. And again, even though it does have a very high asset turnover, it has a very low profit margin for this sector. So even though they're turning those assets over, they're not making a lot of money on those assets. The next company is Tootsie Roll Industries. One of the main points in this company is it does have a very high operating margin. Again, it's making a lot on its operations. It's also one that has a very stable return. And it's also, while they have a stable return, it's lower, but they also have a very low leverage ratio. So they're not very levered. It's a very low risk company. And again, it's reflected on the return in that it's a little bit lower return. But again, their return is stable. So if you want a safe company in the confectionery industries, Tootsie Roll would be the way to go. The next company I did was Snyder's Lance. This was by far the most improved company that I did. It had a very large increase on its return on common equity. Right now it's right around 19, and in the last 5 years it's gone from almost zero, and it's increased steadily over the last 5 years. So this is an up-and-coming company. And even though they've had a large return, you have to look and see if it's because of debt or what. They do have a very low financial leverage, so they're not borrowing money, so they're doing this on their own. They have a high profit margin. That's one of the driving factors in this company, is that they're making lots of money on their profits, and it's almost at 33% right now. While this is a good company, I would say wait and see on this company. It's starting to come up, but it's been unstable even though it has been positive. It still hasn't really yet proved itself to me, and I would wait and see in this company. This could be a major company in the coming years. The last company that I did in the confectionery industry, and my favorite, is Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. They have a very stable, high return. It's been stable over the years, and they've been able to maintain a very high return of around 19 to 20. It has a very high asset turnover for its industry, and in the candy industry, asset turnover is what we'd like to see. It has a very high operating margin, so they're making lots of money on their operations. And again, even though they have a high return on equity, it's not because of leverage. They have a lower leverage, and everything else is good. Another benefit is that even though they are, making lots of money, they are a smaller company. So the threat of a takeover or being bought out is very good. And as we know, when a company is bought out, the average return increases vastly, approximately an average of 16% when there's a threat of a takeover when a company buys another one. So this company can either keep what it's doing and improving, or it might get bought out and provide an increased return for shareholders. And that's it. Thank you for listening.